Good evening, everyone, and welcome to ChatGPT for Finance and FP&A workshop brought to you by FP&A Professionals Institute. My name is Dhaval Parvatikar. I'm a CFO. I'm a career coach. Been in the training industry since last 5 years, trained more than 5,000 people. I'm joined by my partner, Asif Masani. Asif has been an FP&A leader, worked with a host of multinationals. He's also an author of 2 books about FP&A, and he's also trained thousands of professionals and guided thousands of followers on LinkedIn through his valuable content, which he's very consistent and keeps posting regularly. So I hope all of you have got a chance to look at our work and also follow us. A little bit about FP&A Professionals Institute to begin with. The journey started in 2018 when I launched my first course on FP&A that's called FP&A Foundations, which is available on Udemy, and more than 2,000 people have taken the course so far. That is when his book all about FP&A was published, and now a bestseller with more than 3,000 copies sold. We came together and we thought, okay, why not launch a bigger program on FP&A? So that's when we launched our 4 weeks FP&A masterclass, which covers all the basics of budgeting, forecasting, management reporting, data storytelling, business partnering, and we've done 15 successful batches of more than 400 plus students. In 23, then a lot of requests came to us and said that, why not launch a self-paced course? We are not able to attend live programs. So then we launched our 8 weeks FP&A Launchpad self-paced course, which more than 500 people have taken so far. And 2023 was we launched a lot of extended courses around FP&A. That's in Power BI, financial modeling. Master Financial Modeling is again a popular course which Asif runs personally and has done more than 9 successful cohorts so far with 200 plus people taking on these batches. And 24 is when we came together. Somewhere at the end of 23, 24 is when we came together. And while we have been doing training since last 3 to 4 years, 24 is when we came together and we formally launched FP&A Professionals Institute. And we have also launched our 6 months comprehensive program called Certified Global FP&A Professional, which has 10 different modules, over 100 hours of content, everything right from AI to FP&A to data storytelling. Everything is covered in that particular comprehensive certification program. Currently, the second cohort is going on, and the third cohort will start on January, I think second week of January. And then Asif has also recently published his second book called From Accounting to FP&A, which has again become very popular. 1,500 plus copies sold, is now an Amazon bestseller. And on popular request, we started our AI for Finance and FP&A course earlier this year, and that has also successfully done 3 batches now. So this is where we are. FPI's journey has been nothing short of amazing. Extremely passionate about helping finance professionals upskill themselves, and you can see that in all our LinkedIn posts and content and the content that we keep sharing. Happy to share that we have trained more than 3,500 students across 45 plus countries, and we have a nice proud alumni group which is very caring and which always supports the community as well. So that's been the journey for FP&A Professionals Institute so far. I'm extremely excited to partner with Asif here on this training today, and I welcome you all once again. So what are we going to cover today, right? So let me give you a quick roadmap, and then I'll hand it over to Asif for getting into the details of today's session. We'll first start by understanding some data privacy and security concerns regarding AI. Now, gone are the days when people used to say AI is coming. AI is already here, right? So that is a reality. All of us have already started working with different set of AI tools. But is it safe? What are some of the considerations that you need to think about when you're using AI tools? Are we there yet in terms of incorporating fully in our corporate environment? So we'll touch upon data privacy and security considerations in using AI tools like ChatGPT. Things to keep in mind while working with ChatGPT. What works, what doesn't work, what kind of a prompt you should give, how accurate you need to be. Does ChatGPT make mistakes? All of these points we will address in this section. After that, we look at some practical use cases, right? Okay, I understand the fundamentals of ChatGPT, but how do I practically apply it in my finance function? How do I practically use it in my FP&A function? Those examples, there could be tons of hundreds of use cases out there, but we'll try and cover some strong use cases in the limited time that we have. We'll do that in this section. And then finally, we open up for Q&A, and make sure that you stay through till the very end, because we are giving you some great bonuses that you can take advantage of in the end. So with that context in mind, and of course, we'll open for Q&A in the end. We'll take your questions. So please make sure that you focus on the slides, focus on the content that we're sharing right now for the next 40, 45 minutes or so, and take advantage of everything that we share. Note down your questions, and we'll again take your questions in the end as well. With that context in mind, I hand it over to Asif. Asif, over to you.
Thank you so much, Dhaval. Let me share my screen. And I have some questions in my chat box, so let me address them also while I start with the session. First question is this session being recorded and will it be shared later? So the answer is yes, the session is being recorded. And if you wish to watch it later for reference, you can do that. So this is going to be a 90-minute session overall. So we'll try to complete it by, okay. So let's start with the data privacy and the security considerations or things that you should keep in mind before you start using ChatGPT and start sharing all your companies, organizations, or your personal information with an AI tool like ChatGPT. So one of the things that you can do is you can make sure that you don't directly input the sensitive financial information in the tool. You could use some techniques where you can either you can mask the sensitive information or you can encrypt it. Make sure that you don't directly share any sensitive information. There are ways where you can mask it and encrypt it before sharing it to any publicly available or any open source AI tool that you can do to avoid sharing sensitive information outside. Another technique that you can use is you only share data that is required for the purpose of your interaction with ChatGPT. If you're not going to use the entire database while interacting with ChatGPT, you can minimize data sharing. Another thing that you can do is make sure if you're using it, especially for your organization, and if you're sharing any sensitive information, make sure that you don't use any open source AI tools. If you're using ChatGPT, make sure that you are using an enterprise license where your company has contracted with the vendor and they have given you the assurity that your data will not be shared other than for the purpose of you interacting with ChatGPT. So if you're especially using your client data or your company's data, make sure that you have an enterprise license and you've taken permissions from your IT team to be able to share those information in and even after you do have the enterprise license, you make sure that there are proper internal controls in place. There is proper accountability for people who have access to data and there is proper audit trail for any data that is being shared outside the organization. So by making sure that you follow some of these best practices, which is making sure that you handle sensitive data with utmost care and uh, with lot of caution, I think using ChatGPT and any other AI tool is going to help you become more faster, more productive overall when you start using it. So that was on the data privacy and the security concerns that a lot of people usually ask us, is it safe to use? So these are the things that you can do to avoid any data leakage or any misuse of your personal or your enterprise or your company data. The next thing what we wanted to cover is before we get into the use cases is the some of the things that you should keep in mind while you're using ChatGPT. So there are four things that we usually share that you should keep in mind while you are interacting or when you're prompting commands. So first and the most important thing is that whenever you are providing any command or any prompt with ChatGPT, make sure it is having some background. So providing some background about what you're trying to do will help ChatGPT understand the end objective or the end purpose. Or a better prompt could be, can you explain how budgeting works for a small business with 10 employees? So giving some context is going to help you get better answers. Similarly, being more clear, making the question very simple, unambiguous, and direct. So make sure you use very simple language. You don't use any technical jargon which may not be properly understood by the machine. So make sure that you ask the question in the most simplest form as possible. Better prompt would be, what are the three specific things I should budget for my small business to make sure it is more profitable? So it has to be clear along with more specific as well. So narrowing it down with questions with more precise details is going to help you get better answers. How do I prepare a budget versus how do I create a budget for a small business with a recurring monthly expense? So provide a lot of context, background, what you're trying to achieve. Give more specific details and be as clear as possible. And even after you do that, it might be possible that ChatGPT may not give you the answers that you are expecting. In that case, you may want to follow up with another question or another prompt that will guide ChatGPT in the right direction. So there are thumbs up and thumbs down icons which you can use to provide feedback to ChatGPT, or also you can ask follow-up questions. If you notice that ChatGPT is not giving you the most accurate answer, you can prompt it again and ask it to revisit its answer and provide things specifically what you are looking for. And in the second or the third iteration, most likely it comes up with a better answer or a better result that you are expecting. Okay, so these are a few things which you should keep in mind. Giving more context or background, making sure that your question is clear and very specific. And if you don't get a expected answer, or if you feel that the answer is not up to the mark, make sure that you follow up and you refine your question again and you continue that conversation. Usually, when you do that multiple times, it gets used to it. If you're using any recurring if you're performing any recurring tasks, gets better and better. Also, keep in mind that ChatGPT usually and can make mistakes. It does make mistakes, so it usually makes mistakes 20-30% of the time. Although it makes mistakes, it does help you become more productive, and it helps you faster become more. It helps you become faster at whatever things you are doing, even in spite of those mistakes. So your job should be to identify those mistakes and iterate and follow up and refine those prompts. So you cannot blindly trust ChatGPT or any other AI tool at this point. I mean, most of the AI tools are still in very early stages, so you'll have to make sure that you review whatever the output you get from ChatGPT and make sure that you have taken that additional step so that you can avoid any mistakes which can be and which usually you should expect while you are using any. Okay, so let me take a pause here, see if there are any questions in the chat box related to whatever I've covered so far. The first thing that we talked about was the data privacy issues, and the second point was on the four things that you should keep in mind, which is context, clarity, specificity, and ChatGPT can make mistakes. Okay, so I don't see any questions. So what I can do is I'll move to the next slide. Okay, let me stop sharing the screen on that. Okay, so next what we have is some ChatGPT finance specific use cases which we wanted to demonstrate. That is what we will be doing. Before that, we'll just quickly touch upon what are the various use cases which we are using ChatGPT for during the last few months. So we've bucketed those use cases into four different categories, which are usually the categories that you do when you are working in any business facing finance role or FP&A role. So the first category is reporting and analysis, where you are basically summarizing information, summarizing a lot of data to create a executive summary or a presentation, and do a lot of analysis with numbers. The first bucket is on reporting and analysis, where you see use cases like analyzing annual reports, doing uh, analysis like ratio analysis, doing data analysis, doing some analysis like break-even analysis or price, volume, and mix analysis. So that is the first bucket. The second bucket is on management reporting, where you use it for doing management commentaries and variance analysis, along with doing some scenario planning and sensitivity analysis. So these are some use cases on the management reporting side. For budgeting and forecasting, what I've used the chat GPT more frequently is for capital budgeting models, or getting answers on the capital budgeting problems, calculating NPV, IRR, payback period, profitability index. So ChatGPT can do that with ease and a lot faster than I would usually use Excel to do. I have created a budget calendar, giving it my previous year's timeline or the previous year's budgeting calendar, and giving it certain prompts that I wanted to make changes in the upcoming year. I've also used it for forecasting, specifically for performing seasonality analysis and regression analysis. So these are specific use cases which we've used ChatGPT for budgeting and forecasting. And also it can create charts, although not very sophisticated at this time. It's slightly basic, but I'm sure it'll improve over time and it'll become better and better. But you can also use ChatGPT to create charts. We have used it to create waterfall charts, 2x2 matrix that we'll show today. And you can basically use it for any other charts that you usually do in your presentations. So these are the some of the use cases very specific to FP&A, which we have been testing ChatGPT and using it over the last few months, and we'll demonstrate some of them here in the next few minutes. So what we'll do is we'll share as many use cases as we can during this time. So let me start with the first one. Maybe we'll cover one in each bucket. So let me start with reporting and analysis, and let me do the analysis of annual report. What I'll do is I'll just share with you. And if you are following along and if you want to do this along with us, you can do that. I'll share an annual report of a company based out of India, which is a 500-page annual report. And I'll use ChatGPT and do some analysis that usually would have taken me maybe 3 or 4 hours, which I can do using ChatGPT in less than 10 minutes.
Okay, cool. So let me share my screen. So one of the things that I have always used ChatGPT in FP&A is to present, let's say, a store-wise profitability, right? And one of the ways to present a store-wise profitability is either a quadrant chart or a 2x2 matrix. Now, let me first show you how the data looks like. So let me just increase the size a little bit so that you all will be able to see it. So this is how the store-wise profitability looks like. You know, this has about 40 odd stores. Yeah, there are about 40 odd stores where it is written store ID, city type, sales, cost of goods sold, gross margin, store rent, and all of the details. And then we have net profit, and then we have percentages computed. Let's say this data has come from the system. Now, one of the ways that I can present store-wise profitability is through a pivot table or any summary that is acceptable for the management. But the best way to present any profitability is to kind of use a 2x2 matrix where you can plot them into 4 different buckets: high sales, high margin; low sales, low margin; high sales, low margin; and low sales, high margin. So we plot them into 4 different buckets and we present a quadrant chart that gives an instant action plan for the management saying that, okay, these are my problem stores or these are my low profit stores where I'll need to work on increasing the sales or lowering the costs, whatever the case might be, right? So now how do I can select this data, adjust the scale, all of that stuff. The best way or the simpler way today available is to just give this data to ChatGPT and say, can you create that quadrant chart for me? But it's not that straightforward. Let me just quickly share that with you. Here are the prompts. If you can just follow through. So I'm telling ChatGPT that I'm going to share an Excel sheet which has store-wise profitability of a retail company. I want you to act as an FP&A manager and come up with your analysis. Give me the final report classifying all the stores into 4 categories: high sales, high profitability; high sales, low profitability; low sales, high profitability; and low sales, low profitability. Also give me a quadrant chart visualization for the data that I'm sharing. So I'm being very specific with my prompt. I'm saying I'm sharing with you an Excel sheet. I want you to think like an FP&A manager. So you have to set the context, you have to set the character, and then ask questions, and then probably it will be able to analyze in a much simpler way. So here the data is being analyzed by the Excel sheet that I shared it with ChatGPT. It is able to analyze the data. It says provide a summary report, create a quadrant chart. Let me know once the file is uploaded, right? So I uploaded the file and then it did some analysis on the data. It says the data set has detailed financial metrics for each store. To classify these stores into 4 categories based on sales and profitability, I will calculate the median for both the metrics, right? The sales and the profitability, and use these thresholds, and it will be categorized as follows. The same 4 buckets that I asked it to categorize. And then after that, it created a chart on its own where it classified the different stores into 4 buckets, right? High sales, high profitability; low sales, low profitability. So here you have sales ranging from 2 million to 5 million. And here you have profitability ranging from negative 10% to positive 30% or 30+%. But I'm still unable to identify any action point from this, which means that I'm unable to identify the store number, what needs to be done from this. And so what I did is I just extended this particular chart and I said, add the store numbers in the quadrant chart so that I can identify. So then it gave me the store numbers as well. So here is how it looks like. Now I know that if I have to look at store number 165, this is in the low sales, low profitability bucket. Okay, these are my problem stores, this entire bucket. So number 97, 62, 117, these are my problem buckets where I have low sales and low profitability. And these stores is where I need to work on with those respective stores heads or the business heads, and then try and move them towards the high profit, high revenue kind of a bucket, right? So 40 odd stores, I can put a quadrant chart manually, but ChatGPT has done this for me. I need to do a quick check on whether this is working for me. I did some sample check that whether store 97 is actually low sales, low profit, whether store number 62 is actually low sales, low profit, and we can go and discuss this with the management directly. So this is one of the ways. I'm sure with time, the quality of the charts, the presentation will keep getting better and better. But this option is now available for you that you can upload an attachment if you have a premium version of ChatGPT and try and ask it to analyze certain these things as well. You can also ask further questions basis this data. You know, that I have not done it here, but if you want, you can ask further questions basis saying that, okay, give me all those stores where the marketing cost as a percentage of sales is higher than 10%. It will give you the, it will do that analysis of the Excel file and give you all those stores. So you can keep asking it questions, or you can say, give me all those stores where the average rent is more than 5% of sales, right? It will give you that data and you can then just cross-verify it, and then you can use that data for further analysis as well. This is the 2x2 matrix where I used two variables, sales and profitability. You can use this quadrant chart and present a profitability data as well. Here I have used it for store profitability. Similarly, if you have large chunks of data, you can use it for product profitability, branch profitability, business unit profitability, and a number of different kind of categories where you can use two variables to present a certain quadrant chart. So this is one of the use cases that I had to share. Asif, I don't want to check with you before getting into the second use case.
Let me share my screen. Okay, so although it is not accepting the attachments or timing, and usually happens sometimes that it's not able to recognize attachment, I'll show you how to do that. I probably done this maybe 15 days back, so I could go here and I could see, I could just search and I could find this NPV or, yeah, I mean, some of the use cases I had used before, which is one was on horizontal vertical analysis, one was on ROE calculation. So let me just open a couple of use cases which I could fetch from my history. So the annual report use case that I had just shown you, this is the way I had shared the annual report, and it was a 500-page annual report, not the 20-page one. So I shared this annual report, and it could at that time identify this file appears to be the annual report of Tata Motors for 2023-2024, and how could I help you with this document? My next prompt was to ask ChatGPT to summarize the key points. So I would have said summarize the 3 key points from the MDA section. It is summarized the top 3 points, which is one was on the financial performance, where it is giving you the different revenue numbers. Second is on the one of the specific business units, which is the automotive business unit. And the third key priority for it, or the third key point in the MDA analysis, was the sustainability and the strategic initiative. The next thing I asked ChatGPT is to identify the trends in the profits from the last 3 years. It has fetched me the operating profit for the last 3 years, and it is also given me some basic commentary on the 3 years operating profit, saying that it is seen upward trajectory and growth overall, and the profit numbers for the 3 years. The third prompt what I tried was if it could give me the top 3 revenue drivers for that particular company. And it says that the top 3 revenue drivers for this company is one of the subsidiaries, which is Jaguar Land Rover. The commercial vehicle segment is driving profit, and the passenger vehicle. Next, I tried one more chat prompt, which is on the company's strategic priorities from the next year, from the report and from the various sources on the internet, and it gave me the top 3 risks, which is on the supply chain disruption, cyber security, and IT risk, and regulatory compliance and environmental compliance. Or even asking some questions that you feel it can answer based on the documents that you shared. Okay. Next, what I did was I wanted to create a PowerPoint slide with a summary of whatever analysis I've done in the last few minutes. Okay, so I asked it to create a concise slide summarizing the company's performance and its strategic goals, and it gave me the summary which I could easily copy paste it in a PowerPoint slide and use it in the presentation if I wanted to. Okay, I went one step further and I asked, could you just give me the slide? I don't want to copy paste. So could you just give me the PPT and that I can directly download? Can you give me this in PowerPoint that I can directly download? And it ran some codes in Python and it gave me the PowerPoint slide, which was decent enough. I may have to spend another 5 minutes to format it. Let me see if it can open up that slide again. So it is expired, so it's not able to, but it was a decent enough slide, which I could maybe spend another 10 minutes and use it for my presentation. Okay, so this was the use case on the annual reports and using it for summarizing information, analyzing trends, and creating a presentation out of any analysis that you're doing using an external report. We'll just take a look at the chat box for questions. Do you see Copilot can also give similar report like ChatGPT? Yes. So if you are operating in the Microsoft environment, and I'll show you that as well. So let me just open up one of the Office files. So Copilot is very similar. So if you're using Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and then you could use that for you can do similar analysis in Copilot as well. So let me see if I can just open up some sample document and I'll show you. Okay, so I'm just opening up one of the chapters of one of my upcoming books. Let's see if it can open that. So when I open this up and I say, I can see this, I'll be able to see this Copilot icon here, if you can see in the home screen, which gets activated when I save this. So I'm just viewing this. So if I save this file in shared drive, I have to save this file in the shared drive. Right now, it's not on the shared drive. So once I save it on the shared drive, which is the OneDrive from Microsoft, I will see this Copilot icon get highlighted. And I could do similar analysis in Copilot, which is on the side of your, it'll be there on your PowerPoint, Word, Excel, and Outlook. So you could do similar analysis in Copilot as well if you are using a Microsoft environment. Okay, let me move to another use case, which is, okay, there is one more question. Would analyzing annual reports be available on free ChatGPT version as well? I believe yes. So the free ChatGPT version allows you to attach limited number of files. So there might be restrictions on the volume of usage, I mean, the number of times you use it. But yes, from what I know best, you can also do this using a free version, although the limits might be there, or you might not be able to do it very frequently. You might be able to do it maybe once a day or something like that. But you can do that in the free version as well. Okay, so let's take another use case, which is on the calculations that I did for one of the capital budgeting problems. So here is a capital budgeting problem. Very frequently, you might be doing calculations on NPV, IRR for figuring out if the project is viable or not. Let's understand this Excel use case before we go into ChatGPT. So here you have a project where you are investing $100,000 upfront, giving you $40,000 annual recurring revenue for the next 5 years. We are using a simple example just to demonstrate the use case, but you could do this for your particular use case, which might be more complicated. Okay, let's assume that there is 100,000 initial investment with a 40,000 recurring revenue for the next 5 years, and you have been given a 16% discount rate, which you need to use to analyze this investment if it is a viable investment or not. I would probably do this in Excel. I would use the NPV formula in Excel to calculate the present value of the future cash flows at 16% discount rate. And I'm using the NPV formula and I'm calculating this. So the future value of all these inflows, which is 200,000 in the next 5 years, is $130,000, meaning this is worth $130,000 today. What I will be receiving over the next 5 years at 16% discount rate. And I'll need to subtract the initial investment to get the NPV. And usually when the NPV is positive, you conclude that the investment is worth pursuing, or you calculate the IRR. If the IRR is more than the discount rate, you come to that conclusion as well. So you can calculate the IRR in Excel using the IRR formula, which is IRR, and you include all of the cash flows from year 1 to year 0 to year 5. So you can do this in Excel, but you can also do this now in ChatGPT. I have just pasted the same example in ChatGPT, and you can see that initial investment $100,000, annual profit 40,000, time required 5 years, and the discount rate 16%. And when I just inputted this, it started doing the analysis without even giving any prompt. Okay, so it calculated some Python codes, and it started calculating the NPV, and it gave me the answer. The NPV for this project is $30,972. The IRR is 28.65, which is exactly what I got after using some complicated formulas in Excel. In 70-80% of the cases, it gives you accurate answers, but there have been instances where it has given me wrong answers as well. And I could catch that looking at these codes. So we should be ideally be able to read some basic codes that ChatGPT does. And looking at this, I could easily tell it is going wrong somewhere. And based on that, I can again ask it to refine, iterate, which is what we discussed as some of the best practices that you need to know. Okay, so it gave me the NPV and the IRR. Next, I asked it to calculate the payback period, okay, and the discounted payback period. So it gave me the payback period as 3 years and the discounted payback period as 4 years, but it gave me a rounded off answer. I wanted it to be more specific. So I refined my prompt, and it gave me the exact payback period, which is 2.5 years, and the discounted payback period, which is 3.46 years. Okay, and then I'm asking it to summarize or give me the final recommendation. Is this a viable investment? Please recommend. So based on the four things that we calculated, the NPV, the IRR, the payback period, the discounted payback period, it analyzed all of those four factors, and based on that, it gave me a recommendation saying that this is a viable investment because it generates substantial return more than the cost of capital. The initial investment is recovered quickly, and it adds a positive NPV. So that way it could give you the right result or the right recommendation. Probably in the limited time, we could show you 3 or 4 use cases, but you could do this for capital budgeting. You could use this for sensitivity analysis. You could do it for scenario analysis. Do we have time? I'll just hunt for one more use case from my history.
Yeah, we can spend like five or 10 minutes more.
But
on
do
one
you
more
have any
case.
use case you want to share right now?
I can share the expense table one, but I think once I share that, then we won't get time.
So let's do that. And if we have time, then we'll do one more, or else we'll move forward.
So this is slightly deviating from FP&A, but it's a good use case, something which all of us are seeing it on a day-to-day basis. So one of the things that I, always is boring for me is to put expense claims, right? If you're working in a company, you end up spending some money on behalf of the company, and then you have to claim it back from the company, right? So it's always difficult to keep track of the spends and the bills and everything. So I tried to kind of see if ChatGPT can help me with this. So it was not straightforward, but I think I reached my goal where ChatGPT is now taking care of my expense claims, also handling and saving all the proof of documents or the supporting documents for it. So let's see what I started experimenting with ChatGPT. I said, I want to upload some bills and invoices. I want you to create a tabular information, which I will use to put my monthly expense claim in my company. The columns in the table should be date, nature of expense, and amount. So I shared the first bill, then it added the date. I did not give it any information that whether it's a restaurant bill or a taxi bill or anything like that. It read on its own, it figured out, and then it gave me this information in the table. Then I said, okay, create an additional column for remarks or comments, where I said, okay, meeting with Rizwan. So that comment got added here, and this table got updated. Then I started experimenting a little bit more, said that, okay, now I'll keep uploading bills. When I incur them, you should keep adding them to the table. So did not understand at first. When I uploaded one bill, it just gave me a table for that bill. Then I had to be very specific about the instruction. I said, keep it as a running table and also give me a total row so that I understand how much am I spending money on a regular basis, right? So then it added the number to the total. I did not give any information that this is a taxi fare. I just uploaded the bill. This is the invoice or the bill. It figured out that this is a taxi fare, and it gave the nature of expense was captured as taxi fare. The comment, of course, I mentioned that I am traveling to Motor City for a meeting. And then I kept adding some more. This is the data from a ride hailing app. I just took a screenshot and added it and said, okay, meeting with Dr. Corey. And then again, it added to the table. It gave me a total. So this kept on going forward. And then I kept adding my bills, and it gave me a good table as well. Now, later on, what happened was that I now realized that I had shared all these bills, but I am not able to keep track of all these bills. Now I have to still save them either in my wallet, or I have to save them somewhere physically, or even if I'm scanning it, then I have to save it in a folder. So that became a pain. So I asked ChatGPT if it can update and save it for me. So I asked ChatGPT that would you be able to save these bills that are shared from the above table in a folder and give me a downloadable zip file when I ask you to do it. So I had these 7, 8 entries here, and whatever bills I had shared on top, I have not saved them, I have not kept a track of them. So I asked it to give me a zip folder. So after a while, after some discussion, and then I also said, serially number them, whatever you see as the numbers in the table, 1, 2, 3, 4, just number all these bills in the folder and give the zip folder to me. So it gave me the folder which had all the bills that I had shared with it. So this is the folder that I had downloaded. So let me just quickly share with you how the end outcome was. So it gave me a folder named serially numbered bills, and it gave me all the numbers that you saw in the table serially arranged. Okay, so first was my restaurant bill, which says dine in. Second one was the taxi bill that I shared with you. The third one was a screenshot from the ride hailing app. It compiled it in a downloadable zip folder and it gave it to me. So every month, what I do is I start a fresh table. I keep uploading my bills as and when I'm meeting. Let's say if I meet somebody, I have the taxi bill with me. I just take a screenshot, upload it from my mobile phone. It arranges a table for me, saves it in a folder. At the end of the month, I just copy that file in the expense claim template. I download that folder and send it to the accountant for doing the accounting for it. So it simplified some of the things, although not flawless, sometimes it may make errors. But yes, so this is how you can keep experimenting with ChatGPT as well. And of course, there are tools available for expense claims, which are now mobile friendly as well. There are some use cases that we wanted to share with you. Whatever you feel is a repetitive task where you might require, I don't know, a second brain, try and experiment with ChatGPT, throw that problem to ChatGPT, see some prompts, revise your prompts, refine your prompts, and then you should be able to see some solution, or at least you should be able to see that it will partially be able to help you and not spend that time which you used to spend before. So again, think about artificial intelligence not as a tool, right? But it is in fact your assistant or your second brain, right? Which can help you kind of visualize things or do things which otherwise would have taken a lot of time as well, right? So that is one of the things that you can look at.
I can just show one more, which I wanted to show in
Sure,
the beginning,
yeah.
and then we can go back to the slide. Okay, so the use case that I was trying to show earlier was on the ratio analysis. Let me show you what, I mean, if I had to calculate ratios on income statement and a balance sheet, which typically you do when you are analyzing any competitor or doing some analysis for any organization, right? So you typically need the income statement and the balance sheet, and you typically calculate all of these ratios in Excel, which are your profitability ratios, including your gross profit or net profit margin ratio, ROA, ROE, liquidity ratios like current ratio, quick ratio, cash ratio, activity ratios, which are your inventory, receivables, payables, turnover ratio, and debt to equity and your interest cover. So these are like the top. Okay, so typically I would use to link the numbers. First of all, I needed to know the formulas for each of the ratios. I had to link it to the income statement, balance sheet, and I had to calculate the ratios manually using Excel. Probably this entire exercise might have taken me an hour or so. But right now, let's see if ChatGPT was able to do this accurately with the help of the images that I was sharing earlier, right? So what I did earlier was I had shared the income statement and the balance sheet as images. You could also alternatively attach it as an Excel file if it is structured in a proper manner. My Excel file is not very well structured, so it may not be able to read it. But if your Excel file is well structured, meaning all your columns and rows are uniform, you could attach the Excel file as well. But my Excel file was not uniform, so I took images. Also wanted to show you that it can read images. So I asked it, can you read the P&L and balance sheet? And it said, yes, I can help analyze the P&L and the balance sheet from the uploaded images. So it started extracting the data from it. And so it could read it, but then it wrote me some error also. So I tried another prompt, which was I was checking if it could calculate me the profitability ratios from the financial statement. Okay, and I also made a spelling error, which it could understand even in spite of the spelling error. And yes, I can calculate the profitability ratios based on the financial statements, and it started doing the calculations. And it asked me a couple of things. So my prompt was not very specific. It asked me, do you want to do this for the current year or for the previous year? And I then replied saying that, okay, let's do this for the current year. And then it started doing all of these calculations. And you can see here in the backend, it is using some formulas. So I would probably double check these formulas once if I'm using this for some external presentation. Then it came up with the ratios, and it did a fairly decent job. So if I compare it to my Excel file, my gross profit margin was 24.42%, and it gave me the exact 24.42%. I thought maybe let me try some more set of ratios. So I then asked it to calculate liquidity ratios, which are your current ratio, quick ratio, and let's see if it was able to do that. Okay, so it gave me the current ratio, quick ratio, which is 2.26. Let's see what the current ratio is. It is 2.25, so it is fairly accurate. And I tried this for a more set of ratios, but the activity ratios, and again it gave me the answers. Okay, and here I did not like the answers because the formulas were not up to the mark. Okay, so whenever you notice that, you might have to again reiterate and refine your prompt, saying that, okay, you have taken maybe just as an example for calculating inventory turnover ratio, I want you to take average of the 2 years in the denominator, while you've only taken the current year number in the denominator. So those are things you'll have to guide ChatGPT to be more specific, as we had earlier discussed. However, it was able to do a decent enough job to calculate all the ratios, which took me an hour to calculate in Excel. And also I needed to know the formulas to do that. And also the I also needed to know Excel for being able to do that. All of that it could do in less than 5 to 10 minutes with 80 to 90% accuracy. Wherever it was not accurate, I could go back and prompt it again, and it used to most likely correct whatever the issues were. Okay, so this was another use case where it calculated the different ratios which typically finance people calculate on a very frequent basis. Okay, so yeah, those were the few use cases we could show it to you in the limited time we have. What we'll do is we'll go back to the presentation. Do you want me to share screen, or do you?
No, I can share screen, sir. I think there's one slide that you will need to cover and then hand it over.
Okay. So right now what you've done is we've only seen FP&A specific use cases, but there are other finance use cases which we usually cover, and other tools that we cover, including. Okay, so we looked at some FP&A specific use cases, but there are other finance use cases which are other than FP&A, which is on the fraud detection, automating repetitive tasks, risk assessment. So these are some other use cases which we usually cover in our broader program, which is 8 to 10 hour program over the weekends. And we use more tools there, including ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, and Hugging Face. So these are popular tools which we use while looking at these use cases in our main program.
So I think these are some of the use cases that we had to share in the limited period of time. Now that you understand some aspects about AI and ChatGPT and how it can be helpful, so do you realize how amazing it would be to integrate all these, high-paying AI skills in your FP&A roles, and also grab opportunities in the futuristic FP&A function. So yes, not all of them operate flawlessly, but I think we are getting there. What is important is that you be that torchbearer of these tools, or you be one step ahead when it comes to adoption, and you keep experimenting with it. And because you don't need to be you should not be a late adopter, right? So you should look at and be aware of what are the developments that are happening out in the market. So what we have also done is that, as I've mentioned about the AI for finance and FP&A program. So this is a 4 weeks program where we meet every Saturday and Sunday for 90 minutes each. So 8 sessions where we cover various topics, from basics of AI and machine learning, to NLP, to data privacy, various tools as well, like ChatGPT, Copilot, Google Gemini, then a number of tools as well, is where we share some examples of how we are using it on a regular basis. And all of that is covered in detail with our expert instructors. And yeah, so that's the AI for finance and FP&A course. Apart from the AI for finance and FP&A course, so what we have also done is that at FPI, we have spoken to number of CFOs, and we try to identify which are those core skill sets that CFOs are looking for in finance professionals today. And we could sum up into 5 critical skill sets. One is your core FP&A concepts. That's your budgeting, forecasting, management reporting, data storytelling, business partnering. And then comes financial modeling, which is building the pre-statement financial model, the revenue model, understanding the business model, scenario planning, sensitivity analysis. All that is part of solid financial modeling for FP&A specific cases. And then data storytelling, the way finance teams can communicate data to non-finance teams, right? So they don't understand 10,000 lines of Excel sheets. So the use of right chart types, messaging, storytelling, narratives, all of that thing is covered in data. Business partnering is not just about giving data to the business teams, right? So they need to be able to interpret it, understand it. So it's all about how finance teams can influence the business teams to take prudent financial decisions. So that is about business partnering. And then leveraging all the technological developments that are happening out there, right? So the AI and the generative AI space, you understand what are some of the tools available out there and see and try and integrate them in your workflow. So these 5 critical skills are what CFOs mentioned about what they are looking for when they're looking to hire finance professionals or mid-senior finance professionals in their careers as well, right? So now the question that might be running in your mind is, okay, how long will it take for me to learn all of these different skill sets? So what we have done is we have simply come up with live training programs. So where we ask you to come live for every Saturday for usually 1.5 to 2 hours a week. And within 30 days, you will start seeing a lot of results. And everything that we are sharing in our programs is 100% practical based. Right? So Asif and I have more than 2.5 decades of experience in business finance and FP&A. I've worked as a regional CFO in India and in the Middle East. Asif has worked as an FP&A leader in various companies ranging from pharma to edtech to banks. So we have a huge set of cases that we explain in our courses, and you'll get that certification from FP&A Professionals Institute about FP&A, about AI skills, about leadership skills. And we also are all connected through monthly Q&A sessions. After our program, you will still see us in the monthly Q&A sessions where we try and address any questions that you might have. There are expert speakers who come in and share their stories, whether it's a tool provider or whether it's senior CFOs, they come in and share their insights about what they are doing in the latest in the industry. And you also have access to the FPI global community of alumni, where we keep interacting and sharing latest stuff that's happening in the community as well. So all this, with your time investment, so you can look at upskilling yourself of all those critical skill sets that CFOs are looking for today. Now, what we have done is that before I give you the monetary investment involved in the programs, think about it this way. So, what would be the ROI if you are able to save 10% of your time through the tools? What would be your ROI if you are able to learn the updated FP&A skill sets, which will help you transition to high-paying FP&A roles? Right? So think about those things. What we have done is over the last 1 year, we ran multiple courses, right? So the 4 popular live programs that we have are FP&A Masterclass, our financial modeling for FP&A, AI for finance and FP&A, and finance leadership masterclass. So all these 4 of our popular programs, each of them costing anywhere between $250 to $350. That's what we have charged over 2023. But for a very limited period of time, we have clubbed all of them into our pro membership program, and we are offering all the 4 courses at the price of one. That's just at $297. Standalone AI for finance and FP&A is $347 FP&A masterclasses. But for a very limited period of time, we are offering a bundle of all these courses for just $297, along with access to all the workshops and including the new live programs that are going to come in 2025. So we are planning to launch a couple of more new live programs, which will be launched at the later part of 2025. And you can take this annual membership at just $297, do all of these 4 programs at your convenience, right? Every Saturday, Sunday, we keep running the batches. You can select the time, the week, the month that is suitable for you. And throughout 2025, you can look to upskill yourself in these 4 core courses or skill sets that we spoke about, which CFOs are looking for. And some of you in the audience might be our alumni as well. So if you have taken any one of our courses, that's either the masterclass or the modeling or the AI course, then you get all the other courses for just $197 annually. And you can do all these other courses throughout the year at your convenience, basis the calendar that we publish, and you can choose as per your convenience. So that's what we had to share, and a pro membership program. So take benefit of this. This is only going to be for a very limited period of time. The price will go back to $497 very soon. So take benefit of this. And don't take our word for it. There are dozens and dozens of testimonials on our website for each of the courses that we have conducted. You can reach out to our alumni and check with them, and you will definitely get some positive feedback from all of our alumni as well. So a quick snapshot of our upcoming live programs. Our next live program, FP&A Masterclass, is starting on 4th of January, every Saturday, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. The AI for FP&A program is also starting on 4th of January, every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. IST. And financial modeling is starting on Sunday, which is from 5th of January, from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. IST. So these are our upcoming programs in January. All these will be published on our website, so you can go through them. And if you're interested in any of our programs, feel free to reach out to us. If we are sharing the link in the chat box for the pro memberships, you can go and avail that right away. Asif and I are always available on LinkedIn. If you have any questions on this, feel free to reach out to us. And for all the webinar attendees today, I hope you found the webinar helpful and you will kickstart your learning journey on all the core skill sets that we shared about. But to expedite it, what we have done is that as a bonus, we are giving our 3 popular courses. One is the FP&A Foundations course, which is the basics of FP&A, then interview preparation secrets for FP&A and Power Resume Blueprint, and along with the popular Asif's best-selling book, which is all about FP&A. So all these 3 resources together to help you kickstart your journey, we are giving them for completely free in our basic membership plan, right? And this is also available for a limited period of time. Asif will share the link in the chat box. So please check out. If you think you're still not ready for the pro membership, at least go with the basic membership, kickstart your journey. Don't leave the learning journey behind. So that would be my recommendation. And in most cases, the reason why we keep live courses and we love live courses is because people take recorded courses, but they're not able to complete them. They leave it midway. And we have also done this. Asif and I have also kind of subscribed to tons and tons of courses, but we may not have got a chance to complete all of them as well. So that's what happens with recorded courses. So live courses are much more effective in a group environment, simulations, discussions. So take benefit of all of that. Some concluding thoughts. I would recommend that you set aside some time for your learning journey. Technology is changing fast. Concepts are changing fast. Business models are changing fast. So make sure that you set aside some time for your learning journey. Asif and I are always available on LinkedIn. You can reach out to Asif or me on LinkedIn, and we'd be happy to jump on a quick call with you to see anything that needs to be personalized in your career journey. And with that thought, I wish you all the best. Keep learning, keep growing, and hopefully we'll meet in one of the programs.